Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news. Hey Bills fans, get ready because the NFL offseason is heating up, and there's a buzz going around about a potential blockbuster move that could reshape the AFC East landscape and define the Bills' trajectory for the coming seasons. Rumors are swirling that the Kansas City Chiefs, currently experiencing a bit of a downturn following their Super Bowl run, are open to trading one of their most disruptive defensive stars, Chris Jones. And let me tell you, if this trade happens, it's not just a minor shakeup. It's a seismic shift that could propel the Bills into a new era of dominance in the trenches. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, Chris Jones is no ordinary defensive tackle. He's an elite interior presence, a game wrecker who can take over games from the inside. His impact on the Chiefs' defense in 2025 has been evident, especially considering his metrics, 4 sacks in just 13 games, but more than that, his pressures and QB hits have been off the charts. For example, he's been credited with 35 pressures, 12 QB hits, and a pass rush grade of 90. 4 on PFF, which is outstanding for any interior lineman. When you look at his run-stop win rate, sitting at 28%, and his EPA per pressure of 0.20, you realize how disruptive he's been. Not to mention, he's also accumulated over 22 tackles, a forced fumble, and has a missed tackle rate of just under 5%. His per-game pressures average is +1.2, which is well above the typical for interior linemen, and he's been a consistent sack artist, averaging around 0.31 sacks per game over his career. Chris Jones, hailing from Mississippi State, has built a reputation as one of the league's premier interior disruptors. His career stats are impressive: 151 games played, 84 sacks, over 218 tackles, and more than 150 QB hits. He's also forced 10 fumbles and has recorded over 300 pressures throughout his career. Despite some injuries, including a shoulder injury in Week 6 of this season that caused him to miss a game, Jones has demonstrated resilience and high-level production. Remember, in Week 5, he delivered a 2-sack performance against the Broncos, showing he's still got that game-changing ability. What's especially interesting about the Chiefs' current situation is how their roster and cap situation might influence a trade. Kansas City is sitting with about $2.8 million in cap space and a record of 6-7. They're actively rebuilding their offensive line, which has been a weak point, as indicated by the PFF grade of just 62 for their O-line this season. Jones's contract has a $28 million cap hit for 2026, but a trade could free up around $22 million that the Chiefs might use to extend key players like rookie cornerback McDuffie or to bolster other areas. Some analysts are skeptical, though, arguing that trading away a disruptive force like Jones could expose their depleted defensive line, which is already struggling against the run, allowing about 140 yards per game on the ground, and could lead to the team slipping further into mediocrity, much like what happened to the Raiders post-SA. Now, here's where things get really interesting for the Bills. Our current defense, while solid, especially after the Carter injury, has been in need of a spark. The Bills' defensive line has been a bright spot, with a PFF grade of 77.5, but adding a player like Chris Jones could elevate us from a good defense into a dominant one. His ability to disrupt the pocket from the interior, combined with Oliver, who's been playing well with a PFF grade of 84.6, would create a nightmare scenario for opposing offenses. Jones's pressure numbers, roughly plus 20% pressures when paired with Oliver, and his ability to reduce yards per carry would be game changers. We've already seen how the Bills can shut down big plays and third downs, reducing third down conversions by 20% and big plays by 25%. But adding Jones could take that to a whole new level. Think about it. With Milano back and healthy, our front becomes one of the top units in the league, top 4, no question. Historically, Chris Jones has been a perennial threat against the Chiefs, with a plus 18% increase in QB hits when facing them. If he joins us, he could be the missing piece that transforms our defense into an absolute nightmare for quarterbacks. His presence would allow us to send more blitzes, create more pressure, and dominate the line of scrimmage. That would translate into fewer yards allowed, more sacks, and a significant boost in our win probability, especially in close games. The projections from The Athletic suggest a plus 13% increase in win probability with Jones in the fold, and that's not an exaggeration. He's the kind of player who can tilt the balance in the playoffs, especially in snow or cold conditions, where interior disruption becomes even more critical. Looking ahead to the postseason, the odds of the Bills winning the Super Bowl have already shifted favorably, from plus 1,500 earlier in the season to around plus 850. But with a player like Chris Jones, those odds could improve even further, possibly to plus 900 or better, especially if he can help us dominate in the trenches during playoff matchups. Think about the impact he could have against teams like the Chiefs or Rams, where interior defensive line dominance was a major factor in recent big wins. His ability to wreck OLs in snowy playoff conditions could be the final ingredient needed to push us over the top, making us legitimate contenders and not just playoff hopefuls. Now, some fans might wonder about the logistics. The Chiefs, with their current cap situation and a record that's not quite what they envisioned, might be motivated to make this move. Trading Jones could clear significant cap space to extend players like McDuffie and others, while also giving their roster a fresh start. But for us, the opportunity is huge. Acquiring Chris Jones would elevate our entire defensive scheme, allowing us to switch to more aggressive blitz packages, creating chaos for opposing quarterbacks. It would also pair perfectly with the leadership of players like Milano and the emerging secondary, giving us a top-tier defense that can keep us competitive deep into the playoffs. From a strategic standpoint, this move could also shift the AFC East balance. The Jets, who have been trying to build a formidable pass rush, especially after their trade for Quinnen Williams last year, could see this as a major setback. Adding Jones to the Bills would make us a nightmare for any offensive line, especially with our secondary already playing at a high level. Our ability to get after the quarterback and dominate the line of scrimmage would make it nearly impossible for teams to sustain drives, especially in crunch time. The AFC East could be in for a new era, with the Bills reclaiming their spot at the top, thanks to this potential blockbuster move. In terms of the bigger picture, this isn't just about one player. It's about signaling to the league that the Bills are serious about contending now and for the future. It's about creating a culture of dominance in the trenches, something that has been a hallmark of championship teams. Think about the Bills' history, great defenses, tough offensive lines, and a balanced attack. Bringing in a game wrecker like Chris Jones would be a step toward reestablishing that identity. It's about making a statement that the Bills are not just here to compete, but to dominate and win it all. Of course, there's always the question of how this will unfold and what it'll cost. Draft picks, future cap space, and player assets will be involved. But if the price is right, this could be one of the most impactful trades in recent NFL history. Imagine a Bills defense with Jones, Oliver, Milano, and a secondary that's already playing well. Opposing quarterbacks would be sweating just thinking about the possibility of that relentless pass rush, especially in cold, snowy playoff conditions. The Bills could turn into a true fortress, making Highmark Stadium an even tougher place to play. And let's not forget the leadership and morale boost this could provide. Players love to see their team making bold moves, and acquiring a player like Chris Jones sends a message. The Bills are all in, committed to winning now, and willing to do whatever it takes. Fans, players, and coaches alike would rally behind such a move, fueling that playoff push and maybe even giving us the edge we need to finally get back to the Super Bowl. So, as we watch this situation develop, keep in mind that the potential trade for Chris Jones isn't just a rumor. It could be the start of a new chapter for the Bills. A chapter where we dominate the trenches, control the line of scrimmage, and make a real statement to the rest of the league. The AFC East might be on the verge of a shakeup, and the Bills could be leading that charge. This is a story that's still unfolding, and I, for one, am excited to see how it all plays out. Because if it happens, it could very well be the move that takes us back to the promised land. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think the Bills should pull the trigger and go all in for Chris Jones? How do you see him fitting into our scheme and elevating our defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's keep that passion alive, Bills Mafia, because we're heading into an era where we aim to be unstoppable, especially in the trenches, where legends are made and championships are won.